Okay, so today we're talking about accountability progress reporting, APR. Okay, so basically APR is the measurement of a school's performance, basically overall. So it's every year a measurement of how well that school has done in teaching their students, and the students' ability to pass exams. Okay, so APR basically measures, it's accountable for three things: AYP, which is adequate yearly progress; API, academic performance index; and PI, program improvement. So basically, these APR is like this umbrella under which you have AYP, API, and PI. And so you see these three things are being measured. And today we'll just focus on AYP and API, but PI does exist there. So APR is important because it compares schools against other schools of their type. So you have, and it helps track the school's performance. So you have, elementary schools measuring against elementary schools, or high schools measuring against high schools. And so it basically compares the school's abilities, how well the school has taught the students, the school scores in that particular test, and it tracks the school's performance over several years. And basically, there are two main tests or two main functions of this. You got API, which was created in the 90s by the state of California to measure a school's performance against other schools of their type. So that's where that whole thing came from. And the result of that was STAR testing. So basically, because of API, schools were having their students do STAR testing at the end of the year, and then those scores were compared with the other scores of other schools in the state. Okay, and it was just basically to compare schools against each other to see how well students were doing relative to each other, and what needed improvement and what didn't need improvement. AYP, on the other hand, was created in the 2000s, and that was from No Child Left Behind. So all of a sudden you had this test, or this sort of line, was asking schools to measure up to a federal mandate of where students should be in math and English language arts. So basically, NCLB compared to STAR testing is that STAR testing is just comparing a school against another school. NCLB is telling that school to compare to basically a standard, and so a federal standard, so everybody has to apply to it. So that's basically what it's for, and it's important because this is how we measure school progress. We're able to take grades of students and then say, make a statement about how well our students are doing in math or English language arts or other fields, and compare schools. It also can hurt schools because some schools have English language learners or students with special needs that aren't able to meet the same standards that other students are able to. And that makes it really difficult for schools in different parts of the nation to compete, because they're competing with a federal standard, which basically doesn't apply to everybody. Students aren't standard, but our tests are. So that kind of thing. Everybody is affected by APR. Okay, so API was just a California-based STAR testing program, but AYP, the NCLB stuff, that's all measured federally. So that's everybody in the country. So everyone, really, all the schools, well, public schools primarily, are affected by APR. Charter and private don't necessarily need to follow all those rules. So the NCLB was a push to meet math and English language arts standards by 2013-2014, this school year essentially. And then you have the CSTs and the CASI, which also are, sort of federal state mandate, that sort of things. So basically the question is now, what's going to happen? Because with the Common Core state standards, all of a sudden, students aren't being measured, they aren't being compared with other schools who don't have the same situation they are. Now it's about schools improving for their students. So a lot of schools don't know if they're doing STAR testing this year, or NCLB. So right now the question is, are we continuing APR? Or how are we going to continue APR? What form is APR going to take? So we don't know, how we're going to measure progress and performance of schools, and that's really the main question right now. So what is our future with the Common Core state standards? And we're excited. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.